Hello, friend. Welcome to another episode of the Style Thief Fashion Podcast. Before we dive in, I just want to say if you are listening to this, if you are listening on your walk, on your commute, while you're making dinner, I am so glad you're here. And yes, and I would recommend that at some point, if you could get yourself to YouTube and watch this episode, I think this would be a fun one to do that. I do have some visuals. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you can clearly see we've got some visuals. I have a guest in the studio, and it is myself as a cardboard cutout behind me. She's there for a reason I'm going to talk about, but I've also got some pieces of clothing here I want to walk through because today's episode is about my favorite style moments of 2024. So these are my personal style wins that I've had through the years. I thought it would be fun to just recap because this time of year as we wind down 2024, I'm really reflecting on the past year, successes, failures, things I wish went better, and I always am, of course, reflecting on my style. So I thought it would be fun to go through some of the things that were really fun and enlightening and just moved my style forward to a place that I'm really happy about. I want to share those things with you today. So if you have a chance to watch this on YouTube, you'll see not only the cardboard cutout of myself, which is a hilarious gift that keeps on giving, honestly, from my friend Abby. They surprised me with a post party, and this cutout was there, and it was hours of fun. She's scared many people in my household, myself included. My kids wanted to put a Santa hat on her and put her in the window, which still might happen. So I'm going to talk about specifically the cutout for a reason, but I wanted to walk you through three, nope, just kidding, four, because I have my notes in front of me, style moments that were my favorite this year. So, one of my goals going into the new year, and I'm not a huge goal setter, resolution person, but there are some things I like to kind of frame out and think about, especially when it comes to my personal style. I try to be as intentional as I can in several ways. One of the intentions I set for 2024 was to buy things secondhand, make more purchases secondhand, whether it was a thrift store, Poshmark, eBay, other resale sites. I really wanted to be more intentional about making some better purchases that way and not always just buying new. I still do that. I still did that a lot this year, but making a conscious decision and being intentional about shopping. I'm going to use Poshmark as an example because it has been my first go-to. Whenever I've wanted something new has been not only fun, but has also given my style a different feel that I didn't even know was possible. I feel like my wardrobe is more curated. It feels a little more special. These things are very special to me, even though I purchase them from a total stranger oftentimes. But some I did not, some I knew the person. It just was a fun way to add another level of depth to my style that I wasn't really I hadn't realized was even missing. So I'm going to share with you some of these purchases that were really fun, and Poshmark played a big role in this. And it started with, and here I'm going to start to use examples. So if you want to tune into YouTube so you can see these things, please do. The first purchase being this vintage Esprit sweatshirt. So at the beginning of the year, I was feeling very nostalgic. And a big reason of that is for that was because I was at the beginning of the year writing the script for my Style Thief fashion show, my one woman show that's all about personal style. And the show started with me sharing my own style journey. And so when you're thinking back and talking about yourself in your own life, you can't help but go backwards and get into a really reflective spot. So one of the things that I did was I started to walk through and think about all the style moments in my life that I wish I could recreate. And I just kept going back to these Esprit sweatshirts, Esprit tote bags. I'm still on the hunt for an Esprit tote bag. Have not been able to find that yet. And in the one I want and the condition I want, I haven't been able to find it yet. But I stumbled on this white Esprit sweatshirt. And if you grew up when I did in the 80s and 90s, Esprit had a really big moment, and they are back. They have resurfaced, and that's really, really fun. They have reissued their Esprit sweatshirts and tote bags, but I wanted a vintage one. I wanted an OG one. I had one back in the day. Of course, I got rid of it. So mad that I did. And one day on Poshmark, I found this white oversized Esprit sweatshirt. And Esprit is in colored letters. So red, orange, navy, yellow, pink, and like a teal blue. And this sweatshirt it brought me so much joy when I found this damn sweatshirt. I love a graphic sweatshirt, but to have a vintage Esprit sweatshirt that fit me perfectly, I mean, it's everything I ever wanted. It's in such great condition, perfectly worn in, but no stains. I mean, other than the stains I have probably put on it myself, it made me so happy. And it ended up being the inspiration for one of my pieces of merch for the show, which is a graphic sweatshirt. I have it back here. I'm going to grab it. That we ended up doing for the show that I completely stole, style thiefed it from my vintage Esprit sweatshirt. So it says tools, not rules. We emulated the Esprit logo. Okay, we emulated it. It was a nod to it in colorful letters. So that was such a fun purchase to make, and it really launched me into this like going back to the late 80s, 90s style that I grew up with, that one of my first style icons, my Aunt Rhonda, who I've talked about before, she was really my first fashion inspiration. I stole her style first, I always say. So that was a really great first foray into Poshmark. And once I found that, I sort of became obsessed with like, what else can I find on Poshmark that I love? One of the other pieces that I ended up getting, this is a little bit more recent, but it's a vintage, well, it's not vintage actually. It's a Ralph Lauren Aztec inspired, if you're familiar with that kind of like Southwestern Aztec print cardigan. He has done those for many years, and I was watching, I believe it was one of the documentaries about the 90s supermodels. I think it's called Supermodel. I think it's on Apple. Watch it if you haven't watched it. And they're talking about Ralph Lauren, and I saw a cardigan like this, and I was like, you know what? I know I can find this on Poshmark. And so I found this one. It's not vintage. It's a few years old. It's 100% cotton. I love it. I have loved wearing it this fall and winter so far. And that was another example of, could I find a brand new one? Sure, I could. But there just felt something more special. I was very purposeful. And shopping on Poshmark, when I would have my wish list of things that I wanted, it made me really slow down, which is something that I'm always working on in every area of my life. But I would really slow down and wait for the right thing to come along. And so it would be this really fun thing every day. I would just check on Poshmark and look through, and then the perfect one came along. It was in the colorway that I was looking for. I wanted a 100% cotton one, and so it popped up. So it really cultivated this like slowness in my wardrobe that I actually had been missing. The Poshmark shopping secondhand has really been a great tool for that. Another thing I found, this was not a Poshmark purchase, but one of my favorite sites is Red Vintage. And if you are into graphic sweatshirts like I am, graphic tees, Red Vintage is the place to go. And I hopped on there and found, I didn't bring this sweatshirt to show you, but I've worn it before. I'm wearing it in one of the first episodes I recorded, the Style Liberation one, was a vintage raglan sleeve, reverse weave gray sweatshirt. I became obsessed with finding just a plain reverse weave. It's a special weave that is harder to find. If you had those old sturdy like Champion sweatshirts, the fibers, the way that it is made is very, very sturdy. And I wanted a raglan sleeve, not a drop shoulder, like the sweater I'm wearing right now is a drop shoulder. I was really on the hunt for a plain gray one, and I found one on Red Vintage. It does say like track and court or something really small, which I also think is cool because it's like a nod to an athletic thing that I don't do, which I think is funny. So it was in pristine condition, fits me perfectly. I loved it. And while I was on the Red Vintage site, did I also stumble upon a vintage, I'm holding it up, Esprit denim jacket. So this is at the height of my Esprit obsession. And this denim jacket is probably one of my favorites. I have a whole collection of denim jackets. I love them so much. They're a core foundational part of my style, denim in general, but denim jackets I love. So what I love about this one is it's got the kind of big pleat in the back. It sort of tapers down it to the waist. You can adjust the waist so it's a little more nipped in if you want. It's got some distressing at the cuffs, which I really love. Like the left cuff is basically falling off, and I think that's so cool. But other than that, it's in really great condition. It's got really cool fades. It fits super well. It's a spree. So these things just, I was able to just lock in on what I wanted. I slowed down. I found these things. They feel so special to me. I know they have a history. Even if I don't know what that history is, it just feels really special. And like I said, that sort of story in my wardrobe now, I unfortunately, well, it's good to go through and cull your wardrobe and get rid of things, but I have over the years gotten rid of things I really wish I would have held on to. So when I can find these things that have a history, that have a story, that's an important part to me of my wardrobe. To be able to go back and pull things out 20 years later is really, really fun. And so if I can't do that with things I already owned, it's fun to go back and find things from that era that I want to bring into my wardrobe again. So Red Vintage, huge shout out. I love everything that she has. She has such fun pieces on her site, and they're one of a kind. They're things that no one else is going to have. And this Esprit denim jacket was a huge find that I loved. Um, as I was searching for pieces throughout the year, as we got closer to the Style Thief fashion show, I was spending a ton of time figuring out what was I going to wear. What am I going to wear for the photo shoot? What am I going to wear for the show? I wanted to have a bunch of outfit changes. It felt like a major moment. I didn't put pressure on myself for it, but I specifically spent a lot of time knowing what I wanted, how I wanted to look and feel. And when it came down to what I ended up wearing for the show and the photo shoot, shoes became really, really important. And I have a pair of shoes back here that are hanging on this rack. If you have seen any of the promos for the Style Thief fashion show, the poster that I have hanging up behind me, you can go to my profile page on Instagram and see I have a whole highlight of the Style Thief fashion show. But I have a friend who was selling some of her shoes and clothes, and she just posted a little video on Instagram. And I was like, stop right there. What are these neon shoes? Now, on this video, the lighting down here is terrible. We're going to fix that. Don't worry. It doesn't do it justice. They look very green, but what she had were a pair of plastic, basically. They feel sort of plastic. I don't really know what this material is. Rubber? No, I'm going to figure out what it is. Neon green pointed toe pumps. And I was like, those need to be mine. And so she sold them to me, my friend Caitlin. I'm ever grateful to her because these pointed toe neon yellow rather, shoes really set the tone for my outfits, for the whole vibe of the poster for the show, the promo ad for the show incorporated this like neon yellow color that I love. And I really leaned into this sort of neon idea in the last couple years as like an accent. So these shoes, another, previously pre-owned find, became a really big part of my personality. And I knew I wore them for the photo shoot we did at the theater at the high school where my husband works. A shout out to Westside Theater. I'm standing on the arms of the theater seats, and you can just see a little bit of the neon pointed toe peeking out of my wide leg pants that I'll talk about in a moment. And I knew that they would be part of the first look that I would wear in the show, because these shoes, you just find a piece of clothing sometimes that just encompasses how you want to feel. Like I step into these shoes and I feel cool. I feel powerful. I feel fun. I feel like they're an aspect of my personality. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. And I love them. And so the fact that they came from a friend of mine and then became such a big piece of the whole vibe and energy of what this show is about, which is a huge part of this year for me, they're really, really special. So shout out to Caitlin and my neon pumps that I will have forever and ever. Amen. The other shoe, and this ties back to Poshmark, another big style moment, was these Sarah Jessica Parker. Also, these are more green. These are just satin peep toe, major platform heel that I found on Poshmark. And these are Sarah Jessica Parker shoes, SJP. It's got the grosgrain ribbon little bit in the back here. These had never been worn, and I ended up stumbling on a part of the Sarah Jessica Parker. I believe it was like these were the shoes that they had gifted for promos to like influencers and things like that. They had never been worn. And I got these for such a steal, and I knew that I wanted to incorporate them in one of the looks for the show. And what I ended up wearing them for was actually after the show, the after party, and they looked so cool, and they go with that whole like neon vibe. So that was just another great example of knowing what I wanted and the feeling that I wanted in this show and with these looks, and being able to go to Poshmark and finding something that wasn't brand new, was in super great condition and fit that vibe was so fun. It made the whole thing even that much more fun because I was able to find them secondhand. So Poshmark was a huge piece of my style journey this year. I've continued to now sell on there, which has then been able to fund some of what I've wanted to purchase. So that makes me feel good. I've spent less money on new clothes. I'm utilizing the things that I'm selling that I'm no longer using in my wardrobe. Someone else gets to enjoy them, and then I can use that to replenish the things in my wardrobe that I want. So Poshmark, huge style win. Style win number one of 2024. And I know I've talked a lot about some of the pieces. Oh, also, wait, my Ganni boots. I'm also showing you those. These are, Ganni is another brand. I love their shoes. This, it's a pointed Chelsea boot with a really cool, very structured, chunky heel and a silver buckle on the side. And these were brand new, never been worn, and I scored them, and I love them so much. And now Target has a knockoff. Actually, it might be sold out, but I got the original brand. So glad I found these. This is an example of something I didn't know I always wanted, and I found it, and I have them, and I love them. It's another Poshmark purchase. Another piece of style, a style win for 2024 is Nuuly. By the way, none of this, I don't work with Poshmark or Nuuly in a professional sense. I'm not being paid to share any of these things. These are just things that I have invested in myself. Nuuly is a clothing rental service. I talk about it. I suggest it to clients all the time if they have trips they're going on, if they are going through a weight fluctuation, if they are pregnant, if they are looking for specific things for a photo shoot, or they just want to try some new fun stuff and they don't want to invest a ton of money, which is where I was this year in my wardrobe. Nuuly, clothing rental services in general, are such a great tool for this. So Nuuly, just as an example, because I'm familiar with it, is a monthly subscription. I pay $98 a month. And if you want to try this, I do have a referral code that I will link in the show notes. I think you get $30 off your first Nuuly rental. You pick 6 pieces. You wear them as much as you want in that month. If you don't send them back at the end of the month, it's okay. They let you extend it for free. You're not charged again until the next month. So you're charged every single month. You can pause that subscription. You can cancel it at any time. There are pieces that I have kept for like 6 weeks before I, sent them back and got another round. But you get 6 pieces. You can order a couple more, like at $20 per piece. So I think there were 2 months when I was looking for some things for the show to wear that I maybe purchased like 6 or 8 pieces. So you pay a little extra for those. But then you wear them as much as you want. And it's such a great way to try some new stuff. Get some things that are a little bit outside your comfort zone. If you've always wanted to try a certain trend, they've got really great pieces. A lot of it, so this is really Anthropologie's rental service. So a lot of these things are things you've seen on the Anthropologie website. There's brands like Maeve, there's the denim brand Pilcrow that they carry, but there are lots of other individual brands. I have found Ralph Lauren, I have found Levi's, I have found Wrangler, I have found the brand Donnie, which I really love. Lots of different brands are represented on this website. Some that are at a higher price point. If you don't want to invest in that, you can't find it secondhand, go to Nuuly and rent it and give it a try. I will tell you that most of the things that I have gotten, and I've been using Nuuly since May of this year, are brand new with tags. If they have been previously rented and worn, they are always washed. A few things haven't worked. I've had a few that just haven't fit right or I haven't worn. But for the price and as much as I like to shop and try new things, it really has been a very smart way for me to try some new things, to feel like I've got something new that I can wear. And then after I've worn it a couple times, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to wear this again. I'm so glad I didn't purchase this thing. There's been one piece that I did end up purchasing, actually two pieces. I didn't bring the other one down. One was a pair of leopard jeans that I ended up purchasing after I rented them. And that was such a great move because as much as I love leopard, I wasn't sure. Leopard jeans, how much am I going to wear them? Turns out I loved them. I kept them. They were a little bit long. I cut them myself, ended up purchasing them. And when you purchase one of your Nuuly rentals, you do get a little bit of a discount. So it's slightly cheaper than what you would pay for retail. The other thing I purchased, and this is a little bit hard to see, but I rented a Farm Rio blazer, and it has a ridiculously huge flower. Like think Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City, circa, I don't know, 1999. I'm not even sure what year, when she was wearing the big flower pins, right? And then we were only wearing the flower pins. Well, this one is like the Camilla flower that is used in Chanel. It's black on black. It's this humongous, it's bigger than my hand. It's like the size of my head flower on the chest of this blazer, this oversized black blazer. And I love it so much. And I did end up purchasing this. So this is a special piece. I would wear this just to, hang out in, just for every day for fun. But when there's just that little extra edge or something different that I want, I'll pull out this Farm Rio blazer. So Nuuly has been such a fun thing for me to try. It's allowed me to step out of my comfort zone without investing a ton of money on new things I wanted to try. So that was another huge style win for me this year and something I've really loved doing. It would be a great thing to gift to someone. If you're looking for gift ideas for someone over the holiday, if you are expecting, if you're pregnant, they have maternity. If you're postpartum, which is a upcoming episode we're going to talk about, I recommend Nuuly because you can purchase things or rent things in whatever the size is, that you need right now. And then when your body changes in a couple months, you can stop the rental service, you can keep renting. So it fills so many great gaps in a wardrobe, especially if you're on more of a budget, but you like to shop and you like to try new things. Nuuly. Can't say enough great things about it. Okay. The other style win that I had this year would be Frida Salvador boots. So from purchasing secondhand to renting clothes and saving money, where did I invest this time of year in fall, winter? And it was 2 pairs of Frida Salvador boots. I love Frida Salvador. Again, don't work with them, not being paid. But I love their shoes so much. They are so well made. It is a woman-owned business. And in the fall, post-show, which we're going to go back to because that's the show in and of itself was a style win. But come fall, I was like, I really feel like I'm in a great place with my fall wardrobe. I don't need or want a ton of new things. But then I saw these boots on Frida Salvador. The boots I'm holding in my hand right now are a deep oxblood red, shiny croc Western boot. Okay. Can you picture it in your head? If you can't, please come to YouTube or go to my Instagram page because I shared them. I saw these boots and I knew that these boots and these boots alone were going to solve any style problem I had in the fall and winter. And I paused and permissioned. I waited. I said, can you find something different? Can you look on Poshmark? I did. They're brand new. No one had these. There was not even something similar. It was this boot, the style, the color. I loved them so much and I couldn't stop thinking about them. So they had a sale at some point, a 25% off sale. And now 25% off of a free to boot is still quite an investment. These were expensive, over $600. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When I saw them and I knew and I could start thinking of ways I would want to use them in my wardrobe and style them, and thinking about what I was doing in the fall and winter and how I wanted to feel. And I've wanted this like Western inspired thing has been a part of my wardrobe for the last couple of years. I have a black pair of Western inspired style boots that I love, and they just are something a little bit different. It turned the volume up in a different way and had that feel that I was looking for. And so I bought the boots. And I bought the boots and I got them home and I just looked at them for a couple of days. Like I didn't even try them on. I was like intimidated by the boots or something. Definitely the most expensive pair of shoes I have ever owned. So then I got in my closet one day when I had time and energy and I put on some music and I just started playing, because it's one thing to get the boots and hold them in your hands, but it's another to play with them and experiment. And so that's what I did. I spent a day or two really playing with these boots, trying them on with jeans, trying them on with skirts, trying them on with shorts, which is actually the first time I wore them was with shorts. Because I wanted to make sure if you're investing in something like this, they got to feel the way you want them to feel, comfort wise, fit wise, but also within my wardrobe. And the more I played with them, the more I wore them around, the more I fell in love. And this was virtually one of the only things I bought for the fall and winter. And I have worn them. I don't even know. I've lost count of how many times I've worn them. They are going to be in my wardrobe forever. They feel so comfortable. Frida Salvador boots are so well made, but they just added this really cool, unexpected, to me, they feel edgy element to my wardrobes that I didn't even realize I was missing. So, then the other pair of boots, I'm wearing them right now, so I'm just going to take them off, were these Moto boots. Again, another Frida Salvador Moto boot. And these are gold. They have gold hardware, a gold buckle on the side, a buckle at the top. They're a little bit taller, a little chunkier. I love a Moto boot, a combat boot. Again, sometimes in my outfits, I just want a little bit more like structured, edgy, masculine feel, and boots really will do that for me. But something about these boots spoke to me in a way that's similar to the crocodile boots. They felt different. Gold hardware. There's a gold, like big oval gold studs on a strap across the front of the shoe. So when you're wearing jeans and you only see that, there's cool detail. They look so cool with a dress and a skirt. I got these on my birthday. They arrived because they were back ordered, and I've worn them probably 4 times already this week. My birthday was a week ago. They're so comfortable. I love them so much. So say other than a couple sweaters that I've purchased, I'm wearing one right now that I purchased from Poshmark. The boots have been the thing. So that was another big win for me this year, was recognizing that it wasn't about clothing, but it was a shoe, boots in particular, that really unlocked some things in my style this year. So that has been such a fun win, and I can't wait to continue to wear them into the fall and spring, quite possibly the summer. I mean, you're going to have to pry these boots out of my cold, dead hands. Honest to God, I love them so much. Now, the final style win of the year, got to rewind back a little bit, would be the Style Thief fashion show that I did, my first show in August. And it was such an opportunity that when it was presented to me, I want to talk so much more about this show. And as we go on this year, I am going to be touring the show across the country. You'll have a chance to come and experience it. But I wanted this to be a show where I could share my own style journey and how I got to a place where I have felt so empowered in my style, especially in my 40s. It really started when I turned 40. And then share those tools and that knowledge with you and bring you into the show. So when you come to the show, it's interactive. You're going to submit your style questions. I'm going to bring you up on stage. I'm going to outfit you. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get vulnerable and share all the things because I want you to feel what I feel when I get dressed every day. And it is that I trust myself. I love my outfits. I'm not afraid to fail and make mistakes. We're going to get to that point. And then I've got some really other hopefully helpful and poignant and really some other tools that will really ground you in your style journey that we share in the show. And of course, there's shopping involved, there's music, there's fun cocktails. It's such a fun girls' night. I can't wait to share more of it with you. But the of course the outfits were important for this show, right? I mean, I'm putting myself out there in a major way. I wanted to look and feel good, and I had in my mind, I knew that I wanted some very specific looks. And when we got to the point where it's time to do the photo shoot, the promo shoot, that was probably the hardest look to put together because I couldn't shake this image of me in a white suit, white trousers, a very specific trouser. I wanted a wide leg, super long, very sharp tailored pant and perfectly oversized blazer. So I just had this image of me in this white suit. It just felt powerful. It felt feminine. I love the color white. It's very fresh. It's like a blank slate. There were so many reasons I wanted it to be white. Well, when I was searching for these things in April, May, June, April, May timeframe, we did the photo shoot at the end of May. Well, everything was linen, and I didn't want linen. I didn't want wool, but I didn't want linen. I needed something in between. So I was searching high and low. I was looking at bridal sites, looking at very expensive suits to Poshmark level to H&M. I mean, I was all over the board. And I stumbled on a suit from the brand Mango, which I do love their suits, their blazers in particular. And they had done a collaboration in the spring with Victoria Beckham. So this suit, while there is a touch of linen, was the perfect blend. Talk about knowing your numbers, measuring myself, taking the measurements, ordering 2 sizes, doing all the things that I would do if I was, doing this for a client. I should have hired a stylist probably myself for this, but I was like, no, I'm going to find this suit. And it did end up working out. So, the promo shot behind me, the cardboard cutout is the same photo where I'm standing on the theater seats. It's the white pantsuit. The pants are perfect. They have that like razor blade sharp pleat down the front. They're I think a 32-inch inseam. So for me, they're like grazing the floor. And I knew I would wear a really high heel. I didn't know at the time, actually, that I would be wearing the neon heels with them yet. I didn't have those yet when I got the suit. But they worked perfectly. The blazer also worked. It was a little bit too big, and in the back, I should have brought the blazer down to show, but the back actually ended up being really ugly. There was like a D-ring kind of adjustable, if you've ever seen that, like on a men's vest where you can adjust, you pull it and you adjust it. Well, it just looked really bad. I don't know. That was a design flaw in my opinion, but I was like, listen, we're not going to get the back of this suit, this jacket. Okay. We're only going to get the front. And it worked out so well. I put a white tank top bodysuit underneath. I was going to wear the blazer clothes, but it just wasn't working. So I could not have been more thrilled about how that white suit turned out. I actually can't wait to wear it again. I haven't worn it since that photo shoot, but I will, especially as we get into some of these shows in the winter and spring. I'll definitely be wearing it again. And again, it's that thing where when you have this vision in your head, I don't want you to give up. You can find it. It's out there. And I stuck to that vision and it really worked out. So that was a huge style win. And then for the show, it was August in Nebraska, really hot outside. And so I wanted to do the same sort of idea as the white pantsuit, but I found a great blazer dress. So I have it here in my hand. It's short, but I like my legs. I wanted to show them off. And so I wore this blazer dress. It fit really, really well. with the neon green pumps, and this was my opening look when I walked out on stage. I wanted that fresh, powerful, something tailored, but the white seemed a little bit more feminine. I had my red nails, my red lip. It just felt really, really good. So that was the nod to the look in the promo poster, which I really loved. The second look, I wish I could show you. I did a denim on denim look for the show. That was the part of the show where we were doing the interactive bit and people were coming up on stage. And I wanted it to be comfortable, something I could move around in. So I actually, from Nuuly, rented a vintage, they do have some vintage on Nuuly, a vintage pair of 1970s flare-like Levi's jeans. Now, did I want to purchase them? Yes, I did. But they were almost $600 for purchase. I look at them all the time. They're still there. Um, and I don't know, I might have to still purchase them. They fit me like a glove. It's just one of those magical things that worked out. So I wore those. And then I ended up wearing a cropped denim jacket, kind of buttoned up like a top. That was my denim on denim look. Loved it. Felt great in it. I really wanted to do denim on denim because I love denim on denim. I believe in it. And for the third and final look in the show, this is another really fun piece that I found that was a really fun style win this year. We do a reflection at the end of the show, and it literally involves a mirror. And so I wanted something that really sparkled, but I didn't want sequins. So I found this blazer, and I'm holding it up, and it's very, very sparkly. It's like little crystals that are imprinted into the fabric, and it's a really nice, heavy fabric that has a nice drape to it. It's perfectly oversized for me. It sparkles and shines, but it's not sequins. That was not the look I was going for. I wanted like literal sparkle. And when I'm holding this up, when you see this on YouTube, even though the lighting down here is bad, this thing is sparkling. Like I barely move it, and it looks like LED lights. I love it so much. And they had matching shorts. So I wore these little matching shorts underneath this blazer set and a pair of silver heels for the final look, and I felt great. It was fun, unexpected, cool, sparkly, shiny. Went with the whole way that we tie up the end of the show. So that was another style win. And then, yeah, it felt really, really fun. And then as we were wrapping up the show, and I was just going to meet some friends out for a drink, and it was this whole huge party, which was so much fun. I showed up, and there was a cardboard cutout of me. People were posing with it, even people we didn't know. Hilarious. But I got this idea literally a week before the show, maybe even days before, and I was like, you know what I would love? Shouldn't I have a denim jacket that says Style Thief Fashion on the back? Shouldn't I have that? So I called my friend Maria with Bell Merch. She lives here in Omaha, local to Omaha. She handled all of my merch for me, my Style Rules t-shirt, my Tools Not Rules sweatshirt, the tote bag, all of the things. And I said, Maria, don't you think I should have a denim jacket with Style Thief Fashion, like the logo that we had come up with for the show on the back of a denim jacket? She was like, you should. And I said, what would that cost? She's like, well, you could do like a screen print. She's like, you know what would be really cool is embroidery, but it would be hella expensive. And I said, well, tell me how expensive that would be, because now I want embroidery. It wasn't as expensive as I thought. So my biggest style win probably of the year is, and I'm holding it up, this denim jacket. This is one of my Merly jackets from Able. Just a minute for Able. Oh boy. That was not a style win this year, unfortunately. But I took the sort of wash black one because this gray had been the background for the tote bag and the t-shirt, and the colors of the logo I knew would really pop. And so we embroidered Style Thief Fashion on the back of this jacket. And even though it was like 100 degrees, I did wear this to the after party. And it was just a really fun way to end the epic show. I love it. I love having this. You'll see it now. I don't know how much I'll wear it out, but I have it now as a reminder of this really big moment that I put a lot of love and time and energy and effort into. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know at the time that it would be something that would tour, but I put everything I had into it, my heart, my soul, and so I wanted something to commemorate the moment I didn't know yet I'd have a cardboard cutout, but I have a denim jacket, and so much of what I've done, has centered around denim jackets. Really, it was one of the first things I knew when I could talk about my wardrobe and my style. Denim jackets were are such a key piece of that. So to bring it back to this and have Style Thief fashion embroidered on the back was a really, really fun moment for me in my style. So we just went through my style wins of the year. It's always fun to look back and reflect, and I hope that this gives you the idea to do this too for yourself. Go back and think about what are the moments, what are the outfits that you loved? Where did you really shine in your style? What were the pieces that you went back to again and again? What's the thing that you've been looking for that you're going to carry over into 2025 that you know? Maybe it's a boot like my Frida Salvador boots, or it's a piece of jewelry. What's that thing that you're craving? Don't stop. Go out and find it. It's there for you. Um, this is self care. Style is self care, as I always say. And especially whether you have big moments in this coming year or you don't, your style is a part of that. And it's not frivolous to look back and reflect on it and find the areas that brought you joy or that maybe you want to improve upon. So it was really fun for me to reflect back on when I was thinking about the things with my style that were moved it forward this year into a way where I feel even more grounded in who I am in my style, and I really feel like I own my style. These are the things that I came back to. So I hope they were helpful. I hope it was fun to reflect with me on this. And I want you to do this for yourself too. Go back and reflect on your style wins for 2024. And then will you please share them with me? You can leave me a DM on Instagram, comment here on YouTube. I'd love to know what are the things that brought you joy in your style this year. And then next time when we come back, we're going to reflect on what we want to set our intention and our style goals are, what they'll be for 2025. So thanks for letting me share that with you. And thanks for being here. See you next time.